Vicki Sutherland. I'm the president of the Valley View Council. Okay, basically, as a union, we recognize the fact that the district has the right by Illinois statute to implement reduction in force. We also recognize the financial state the Illinois government is currently in and the cutbacks in educational funding proposed by the state for all school districts. Also, we recognize the fact that we do have a significant population of middle school children who are in need of some type of intervention, and in the task that is presented by the board and the district to come up with a plan is also recognized. However, we are also quite sure about the fact is that the district is also is not in the same predicament as other school districts are in their financial needs. At this time, I'd like to make a point, though. Although we cannot negotiate the reduction in force with the district, we are able to have the right to negotiate the release. I'm right over here. Reduction to negotiate with the board the impact that this release is going to have on our members who are remaining currently in the educational system. Therefore, we are urging the board the board members to explore all options that are just not the ones that have been presented. So we want to meet with the board, be able to go over all the options that there might possibly be, and not just rely on the few options that have been presented to you today. It is within our rights to do that, so therefore we would like to make that request in order to be able to look at everything in case there's other things that we can do that will help to maintain our current staffing. We even suggest that you talk to our members.
Thank you, Vicki. For myself, and I'm not going to speak for any other board members, but laying people off is the last thing we want to do. We understand, I think everybody up here understands the value of what the teachers do. We understand the financial reality of what's going on, not only in our district. We know we're better than some districts financially, but we don't want to be as bad as some of those other districts are either. We also know the reality of what's going on with the state, and I'm always open to talking about figuring out ways to save a nickel and a dime. If you stick around later on, we're changing our insurance contract to save $10,000. $600 and some thousand contract. We're changing it to save $10,000. Against, that doesn't make a lot of sense to some people, but it's $10,000. $10,000 is $10,000. It's $10,000 of salary, $10,000 of taxpayer money, and we're going to do, and we've been doing this since I've been up here, finding places here and there, $1 million here, $500,000, $300,000, wherever we can to save money to keep this district on the financial footing as we go forward. We've come up with some creative ideas to do some things over the past few years. We will continue to do that, and like I said, the last thing we want to do is reduce staff and what have you, unless it's a last resort or just for some reason makes sense. And not all these times does it make sense, but we do have to do what we have to do sometimes.
First, I don't even know where to start on RIF because I'm so frustrated by that. I just was outside thinking to myself, we get so many parent link calls on so many things in this district. I find it fascinating that parents are not informed that over 500 staff are going to be having a reduction in force. I would like to know on the middle school, and thank you so much, Mrs. Kinner, is it Mrs. Kinner? Okay, thank you. I never know who's a doctor, who's not. Anyway, thank you for your email response to me. I really do appreciate it. I did look over what you sent, and I do have a few questions. Number one, I saw that the cost is $19 per student. I'm wondering how many students we're talking about. Where is that money coming from? Again, you may have answered this, but I couldn't hear it. Who will be teaching this? And it seems to me, I'm on the universal leadership team at Lukansic Middle School, and I was kind of thinking when I was reading what you sent, I feel like what we're doing is pointless. Like, we sit at that table every 2 weeks and we look at the map data, and we've come up with all these different ideas of things that we're supposed to be doing. I can't even think what they're all called because there's so many. But, there's all these different things that we're doing, and I feel like that's sort of like window covering, like we're just doing that to make it look like we're doing something when really this was what we were shooting for all along. I think assessment's important. Please don't mishear me. Dr. Mitchum, you know how I feel. I've sat with you. I do think it's important, but I'm just concerned that we're going with two data points. And I guess my other question is, where's the data on this program? Where is the data that this works? I'd like to know, that's important. Where is that data?
You can let me know if I missed any of your questions. The cost per student is calculated on the number of students who would be enrolled in the program. So that's approximately 50% of our middle school population. However, it's $15 per student if you calculate it by all of our middle school students. So that would mean that because all students have access and could make use of the program, we could use it in other ways. That cost would be slightly lower per student.
How many students do we have? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Current total enrollment is approximately about 5,500.
In all of the middle schools?
Correct. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brooks has the largest population, around 1,200. Lukanzik has the smallest population, around 700.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And who will be teaching this?
For the students who need the smaller amount of minutes per week, the careers instructors would be supervising it. And for the students needing the most intense intervention 5 days a week, that would be enhancement teachers, basically teachers who have mathematics or language arts background.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by supervise?
In the fact that the teacher does not do the preparation and actually administer the instruction, but they guide the student through the instruction, make sure they're on task, do the reporting, basically ensure that the student is doing the minutes and making the progress that they should be making. So that's what their monitoring responsibility would be. They would not be responsible for preparing lessons or, being a math expert and sitting down and reteaching a math thing that was taught in class or anything like that.
Okay, that concerns me. I'm not sure I like that. I'm just going to say I have to think about that.
It concerns me as well, but the other option then would be to even more significantly impact staffing and with the careers teachers. So essentially there would only be a couple careers teachers per building, and the rest would be replaced with math or language arts.
I think you misunderstood my concern. My concern isn't who's teaching it. My concern is that it's not being taught, it's being supervised.
If I may add on what Assistant Superintendent Kinder has referenced, since we've come into these positions of superintendent and assistant superintendent, we have recognized that there are significant deficits in our curriculum across the board, K-12. This is not a teacher issue. We are not here to indicate that the teachers in this district are not doing an excellent job at educating our kids. However, we do have some curricular issues that need to be addressed. We have been malfeasant in addressing our curriculum K through 12, and we simply have to increase the rigor in our curriculum if our kids are going to get a fighting chance. Our request to deliver all-day kindergarten and to deliver a much more significant K-1 curriculum is something that is at the foundation of what we're trying to do long-term to ensure that our kids, because we believe they can achieve at the same rates of surrounding districts.
Absolutely.
And I believe that, and I believe that our district believes that. This is not going to happen in a vacuum. While at the same time we are building our curriculum from the ground up, beginning with the kindergarten, at the kindergarten level, which is of significant importance, we also have kids that are caught in the gap. And these kids that are caught in the gap, it would be educational malfeasance to not attempt to address their needs in the interim. Otherwise, what we would do is let things remain at status quo, continue with the results that we're getting that are mediocre. Make no mistake about that, not as a result of what's going on in the classrooms, but as a result of the staff in this district not being provided with the tools and the curriculum to ensure that our kids can be met with success post-secondary life. So we're committed to providing the tools and the curriculum to this staff so that with your efforts in the classroom, the results will manifest themselves in the success of our students. And in the interim, we need to find ways in which to catch these kids in our safety net who are significantly behind and attempt to meet them where they're at and get them where they need to be by the time they graduate from college. Because I believe, and I think most believe, that if given the opportunity, they should have the option of being able to decide their future, and that the education system is not a precursor to them not being able to make those decisions. So these are very difficult decisions that we are making. But for myself, every time I go home and look in the mirror, I ask myself, did I do what I perceive to be in the best interest of the students in this district, which is what I think you hired me to do. There will always be those who don't agree, and there will be those who do agree. But fundamentally, we have to do what serves the best interest of these kids, or we have to make difficult decisions as a result. And these are some of the decisions that we are currently contemplating to ensure that we catch those in the middle in our safety net, while at the same time building a foundation for our kindergartners and first graders, so that eventually we'll get to a point where we can start to remove these interventions. We can start to significantly shift our resources back to a much more well-rounded curriculum. But if our kids are not prepared by being literate, based on what the expectation is, and understanding their math facts based on what the expectation is, I dare say we'll be cheating their future.
Thank you.